Welcome back to the program. I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas. You know, if the Democrats weren't stealing for a living, what else would they be doing? Probably killing people and murdering people in the streets, if you want to know the truth. But whether it's U.S. aid, whether it's the fake science organization, the National Science Foundation, or whether it's over another 120 other federal agencies, they are grifters, they are thieves, and that is what they have been doing for years. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks, okay? You've got the SNAP program, 40% of illegals on that program stealing our taxpayer dollars. Of course, you have the Somali swindle, which I've already covered ad nauseum, but I will cover even some more because there's some now new information coming on that as well and more indictments. Whether it is so many of these other things that we are seeing in all of these different agencies, from these fake Christian organizations down on the border to these NGOs to these Catholic charities to so many of their grift. They ought to just change their party to the Laundrocrats, okay? Because that's what they do. They launder money. And clearly with the Act Blue and the Smurfs, as they're called, well, we now have yet another one here. It's not so much that all of these people that I'm about to mention are involved in the same grift. It's the fact that, at least at this point, I don't really see any federal investigations happening or anything like that. But I can tell you that from the DNC to the DCCC, which is the Democratic Campaign Committee or something like that, and the DSCC, the progressives and the leftist communists that are grifting off of taxpayers is out of control. Hillary Clinton, heels up headboard Harris, of course Biden, the entire Biden crime family, bathhouse Booker, Mark Kelly, the CCP loving idiot astronaut, Bella Pelosi, Chucky Wingtips Schumer, Adam Schiff, I don't have a pen. Yes, I do. Here it is. Who else? Alyssa Slotkin, Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, Elizabeth Pocahontas Liar Wather Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Gary Peters, even Fetterman and Jeffries and Maggie for New Hampshire. What do they all have in common? They have in common that all of their campaigns have taken in millions upon millions of dollars from people that don't even have any names or addresses in their campaigns. And who's the latest to join this group and crowd? Fannie Face Willis. That's right. She is now facing new charges for Democrat money laundering. So let's see here. Let's go through this real quick, okay? Here it is. Where is it? Right there. On November 29th, 2025, Fox News published an article in which they stated that Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis, an elected Democrat, is an absolute disgrace to her office and to the legal profession. She tried to bring down President Trump, obviously we know, with politically motivated indictments, but of course that ended up in failure because he was innocent. So Fannie Willis has several serious ethical issues. As the aforementioned article points out, Willis hired her secret and married boyfriend and lover Nathan Wade, who had never even tried a felony case in his life. He had been a lawyer in private practice and a municipal court judge. Somehow, he found his way onto Willis's team, raking in $250 an hour from Fulton County taxpayers, and he billed 8-hour days consistently, and he even billed one for 24 hours. What lawyer works for 24 hours, and then he ended up taking home close to $700,000? But that's the least of the problems, okay? She does indeed deserve to be prosecuted, not just for that, but her prosecutorial misconduct, obstruction, election interference. I mean, the list is completely endless. But there's an investigative reporter, another great patriot by the name of Bob Cushman of the Freedom Press, who has just uncovered some more information pertaining to Fannie Willis and some of these other Democrats involved with massive amounts of money laundering. So, according to the state of Georgia, Fannie Willis has received $2,845,000 in campaign contributions. There are 72,000 donations that average about $39 each. One astounding fact is that 83% of all these donations reveal absolutely no name and no address. Wow, imagine that. It seems that the state of Georgia has allowed elected officials to not report the identities of donors who donate less than $100. Now, that is a law that in Georgia they need to fix, because if it was law, then these folks would have to have a name and address, and clearly they would not have as much money coming in because they are laundering this money through organizations like Act Blue. Then it goes on to say this. In performing an analysis of the donors that were listed, it easily encounters the following illicit straw donors, aka Smurfs. They were found hundreds more, but it's a very time-consuming process. The following Fannie Willis Smurfs are listed below, and there's a whole list of them. But let's get into the meat and potatoes here. These different donors comprised of a total of $1,782,000 when viewed in the FEC database, so that's the Federal Elections Commission. 73,500 donations only averaged about $24 each. Now, keep in mind that we are examining and judging these Smurfs with the FEC's regulations and information, which means that these donations are federally reportable to elected officials. As is usually the case on average, the age of a, quote, Smurf is 70 years of age, which is, of course, in the senior category. Now, just to explain real quick what a Smurf is someone who is an elderly individual, typically, and they may have donated legitimately to a candidate maybe once or twice, very, very small amounts. But then what ends up happening is they take their names, they take their addresses, and they are literally bilking these seniors. They are using these seniors that have not given authorization for continuous amounts of money coming into the coffers of these campaigns. They are continuously bilking them. They are stealing money in little increments, small increments, so that these folks don't maybe recognize it right away. But they're doing it every month. They're hitting a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, maybe a few dollars here, a couple dollars there. And these folks aren't recognizing it. And they are using this money. They are using this money to money launder to their own campaigns. Totally illegal activities. Okay, so then it says, let's see, Fannie Willis' Smurf donations and those previously reported and the recipients of this money laundering, the information, when it is compared to the others, you can clearly see that these amounts are the same. The people are not listed with their names. They're not listed with their addresses either. And these folks and these amounts are currently on Gretchen Whitmer, the DNC, the DCCC, the DSCC, Progressive Takeover, Hillary Clinton for America, Kamala Harris for president, Joe Biden for president, Cory Booker for Senate, Mark Kelly, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. I don't have another pen, but Adam, you know his last name. And then, let's see, and then who else? Alyssa Slotkin, Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, Pocahontas, Amy Klobuchar, Gary Peters, Hakeem Jeffries, and Maggie for New Hampshire. All of those people have donations, little tiny donations, that do not show a name, nor do they show an address, which apparently in Georgia, I don't know about other states, but in Georgia, the rule is you can donate anonymously if you're under $100. That is a law that must be changed, because this is how they are getting away with what they are doing. These are clearly FEC violations. So when you look at the Fannie Willis information and it's transcribed into the previously revealed data, it can be visually verified that Fannie Willis is undoubtedly involved with the same mass money laundering operation as the entire Democratic Party. All of the people fit. All of the Smurfs make sense. all of their donations match. These 52 Smurfs, and this is just part of it, represent $9,197,000 of FEC donations in 395,000 separate donations that only average about $23 each. That is incredible, and that proves that there is money laundering happening right underneath our eyes. I know that they're looking into Act Blue. Perhaps maybe Fannie Willis and some of these other people, excuse me, will get, wrapped up in all of this because they should. But this is really scary stuff because they're laundering this money. It's going into their coffers, into their campaigns, and then Republicans are expected to do it by the law and do things that are right and just, and they can't keep up. They can't keep up with the money that the left is bringing in. But the left is not bringing in real donations. The majority of their donations, they say 83%, are coming in through these, quote, Smurfs, which is money laundering. So we might as well rename the Democratic Party the Laundrocratic Party, because that's exactly what they're doing. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.